Hey everyone, welcome to my channel, and this is just going to be a quick update video on HYLIION stock, or ticker symbol HYLN. Now we've had some pretty crazy price action over the past 2 or 3 days, and I wanted to just do a brief overview of the price action and introduce some key fib retracement levels and some trend lines, and then we'll look at some of the Twitter news and recent things that are going on with HYLIION stock, and finally we'll use this information to gauge what people with options should be doing as we head into the future, especially with those October calls. Now, as we can see from the daily chart, we've had a pretty sharp decline in the stock price over the past couple of days, up to the highs of around 54 and now down to the closing area of around $33. So on the daily chart, we can look at the MACD indicator, the stochastic RSI, and the stochastic slow to kind of gauge where the stock price is looking at right now and where it could go in the future. So just on the MACD indicator, we see that we actually were pretty close to doing some bullish crosses over here as well as over here. But now we are really, these lines are very far diverged, and I do not really see a bullish cross coming in the future anytime soon, as the histogram is pretty negative. And in the previous video, we were at this stage in the histogram where we could have seen a possible head and shoulders pattern, but now that this has so much bearish momentum in this direction, I'm not so sure if that's possible anymore. So we also can look at the stochastic RSI, and as we see from this graph, we've crossed under the 20 point zone, which means that this stock is relatively oversold, which could be a good thing. But we do not want to draw any conclusions just from the stochastic RSI alone, because the stock price could generally stay in this oversold region for a while, as we see from this area over here. So that's why we want to use these other indicators to kind of help combine our analysis as to what the stock price will do. And another indicator we can use is stochastic slow, and basically this is an oscillator. And right now we are approaching in the oversold region as well in the stochastic slow, which could be a good thing. This pretty much agrees with the stochastic RSI in that the stock, there's been too much selling, and we may see a possible bounce from this pretty low level maybe in the future. These, however, do not tell us the time period that will happen and the magnitude of how much we're going to bounce back. And if you feel that any part of this video helps you out in any way, please consider hitting that like button and smashing that juicy red subscribe button, as it really helps me out and lets me know how you guys are feeling about the videos, so I can make future videos according to how you guys feel. So to continue with the analysis, we're on the daily chart right now, and we're going to look at this decrease in the price over the past few days. So to do so, we'll look at a simple trend-based fib extension, and this is similar to what I did in the previous video, except now we have confirmed specific price action and can make decisions based off what we see now. So to do this, we're going to simply drag it down here to the 17.74 level, and let's go down to the hourly chart to see what our price is, how's it reacting to these levels. So as you can see from here, we are at this part in the stock price. And we can see that these Fibonacci levels have been very heavily respected, even through this random garbage decrease in the stock price. So if we zoom in on this part, we see that today we dropped pretty low, and we actually bounced off the 0.382 line, which is at around $33. So pretty much this stock has been continually bouncing on this level and then dropping below, bouncing, and well, right now it hasn't dropped below yet, but if it keeps going down, we can expect that the stock will bounce along the $27 price, which is extremely low. And because of the fact that this price is really low, and we're at pretty high levels of resistance right now, because this level has previously acted as resistance and support, as we can see from here. So I'm assuming, this is all speculation, by the way, this is not financial advice, but it seems that we have a pretty strong price support at $33. So if we do go below this level, I expect that the price should rebound and at least come back to this level, which is already pretty low. And the reason why I say this is because our indicators are also suggesting that this is already an oversold stock, as we saw from the slow stochastic and the stochastic RSI. Because the stock is so oversold, I do not really think it will drop down to this 27 level and stay there. And if you're not a big fan of Fibonacci analysis or trend-based fib extensions, well, we can do a simple trend line to see where the price has been going in the long term. And so to do that, we connect this candle wick over here along with these candle wicks. So we have 3 touches, which marks a pretty significant trend line. And as we can see from zooming in on this area, we actually dropped heavily today when we opened slightly below this trend line. So when looking at this from a psychological perspective, many investors are watching this trend line as the price moves like this in this up and down symmetrical triangle pattern and then coming down to hit this trend line. And when they see that the price is kind of falling below it, they're going to sell. They're going to sell the trend line. And that's why we see this huge decrease. And it bounced off the Fibonacci extension level as we saw previously. So from this, now this line will try to act as resistance as the price may shoot up a little bit in the future. This is all speculative. I'm not saying that the stock price will shoot up tomorrow or bounce again and hit this trend line tomorrow. We do not know. There's no way to tell that. But I can definitely say that in the future, we will have to consider this trend line as it is very significant to the price action in general. And on this channel, we like to do a variety of analysis on the stock price to get a more objective view of the price action. So specifically, we mainly use indicators such as MACD, stochastic RSI, stochastic slow, along with key Fibonacci extensions and retracement levels, in addition to using trend lines. So if we use these 3 main types of analysis, this can ensure and maximize the effect of our technical analysis on the stock price. And this does not mean that we will always be right, or even we might be right half the time. We could use all this analysis and all these indicators. We could use a million indicators, and we could still be wrong about the price action. But the more confidence we have in our decision to make action based on these indicators, the more likely it is that the stock price will follow what we think. And this can potentially minimize our losses and potentially maximize profits. Now to move on to general news outside of the technical analysis aspect of this channel, we see that Thomas Healy's Twitter actually has a decent amount of recent news, like October 2nd, October 2nd, October 5th. And as most of you know, he rang the NYSE bell. He had a bunch of interviews and mentioned a lot of his deals with companies such as Wegner's, HEB, etc. So it is undeniable that the media has access to the information that he presented in these interviews that are pretty crucial to inspiring hype about the company. But as we can see from this failed price action, and essentially what we have here is a failed impulsive wave to the upside, and now we're trying to essentially damage control how much the price will go down as we look at these key levels of support. So as most of you know, a lot of the hype around this company and a lot of these social media posts that receives quite a decent amount of views, it's already priced in. And what this means is that after we have this decline in the stock price and we consolidate at this key level, we do not know what that key level is yet. Hopefully this is the lowest we will go for consolidation, but whatever level we do stabilize at, that reflects true interest in the company. And these people that are holding the stock at these levels most likely are actually invested in the company itself and not just going off hype. Now here comes the juicy part of this video, options. Options are ticking time bombs, And as many of you know, if you have HYLIION options right now and you haven't sold them yet, your portfolio is probably in the shitter right now. And there's a lot of red there, and you're probably worried and stressed out. And don't worry, I have calls too, and these are affecting me. So I just wanted to share with you what I plan on doing with my calls. And this is in no way financial advice or me telling you how you should plan your calls. This is just me sharing what I will do with my investments. So first of all, if you have an October 9th call, which is expiring this Friday, in my opinion, if you're in the money, at the money, or like if your options are worth something still, I would cut your losses and grab whatever you can, because the chances of this stock hitting a substantial level that will actually give you profits by this Friday is a pretty low probability. There needs to be some significant price bump from this garbage 33 level up into maybe the 40s. If you have a 40 strike, then if it bumps up to 40, then you maybe you can get some profits. But the chance of this happening by this Friday is very low. So I'm not saying that you have to sell it right now or when the market opens, sell it. But I think it's your call whether how it depends on also what your strike price is. If your strike price is really high, then I'm assuming that your calls are probably worth 1 cent. And at that point, you can't really do anything. Just hold on to it. Like there's nothing you can do. But if you're at the money or in the money, you have to make a decision whether you're okay with the money it's worth right now, and if you sell, if you're okay with just grabbing that quick money right there. So yeah, October 9th, if you have that, honestly, I'm sorry that you have that right now because you're probably down a lot of money. But this is one suggestion I can give to you that you obviously do not have to follow in any way. But for October 16th calls, which is probably the most common type of call that people who are stressed out have, these are probably the most common calls. And if you look at the open interest of October 16th calls, there are thousands of people with this call. So I don't know if this makes you feel any better, but there are a lot of people in the same boat as you who haven't sold yet and are getting absolutely dumpstered by this stock right now. So my suggestion is if you're not in the money right now or at the money, I would hold your calls and hope for price action over this week and next week. You still have a decent amount of time to potentially see a bounce in the stock. And I don't think the stock will bounce at all to like a very high level up here, but there is a chance that it could rebound off this key Fibonacci extension and possibly into this range maybe, or it could also dip lower and hit that 27 price mark as I mentioned previously. But if you're holding October 16th calls, I'm pretty sure that they're worth not much money right now, unless you are in the money or at the money. So if you're in the money and you're okay with that getting that money back right now, then go for it. Sell that call. But if you're hopeful still and your calls are not worth that much because you're too much out of the money, then I would hold and hope. I would hold and hope your call. Furthermore, for these October 16th calls, we'll have a better idea of when exactly to sell as we observe price action over this week and as we get into next week. And I'll keep you guys updated as to what I believe will be the best choice for these October 16th calls, at least for my opinion. I'll definitely post videos on that, so be sure to subscribe if you want to stay updated on my opinions of what you should do on these options. So for anything past October 16th, such as late October, so say you have an October 23rd call, you do not have a ticking time bomb yet. You have still a substantial amount of time before this price could see some rebound. So I would definitely hold and hope. Unless your calls are very in the money, I don't think it's worth yet selling because you could still get some upside. If your calls right now are only losing a tiny bit of money or actually like somehow profitable, definitely sell that. But if you're losing money right now, on your late October calls, or for example, your early November calls, I would not sell yet. And I plan on doing a video in the future going into depth about how to plan your options and how you can mathematically estimate what your options contract will be worth in the future using elements such as delta, rho, theta, etc. And if you guys would like to see that and stay updated, be sure to subscribe and like the video. Once again, if you have not done so, to show some support and let me know what you guys are thinking. So yeah, just to conclude, if you have options contracts that are expiring in late October, I would hold and hope if your strike price is relatively high. And if you're in November, you don't have to worry about time just yet. You have almost a month left until your options will expire. And if you have it later than November, obviously you're chilling on time. So this price definitely has potential in the future. Just right now, it needs to consolidate and shake off all the hype buyers. So we'll have to see in the future how it responds to key price levels. And based on that, you can make a more informed decision about what to do with your contract. So in general, regardless of your strike price or your strike date, you need to consider the risk to reward of selling your contract now and how much money you'll get immediately versus the potential upside and the probability that the price will rise enough to give you profits in your options. So that's the general decision you need to make when deciding when to sell your contract. And you can also use mathematical elements as well to more objectively decide. And I can definitely do a future video on that. Let me know in the comments what type of ideas you would like to see in the future, and I will definitely try my best to fulfill all of them. So that's going to be it for this video. Sorry it's a little bit long. I rambled a little bit, or I rambled too much about what my idea about the stock is. I've done a lot of research into the stock over the past couple of months, and I'm sad to see that it didn't live up to the hype that was built up for it, but there's still hope in the company. And just because it's declining right now does not mean it's going to decline forever. It just needs some time and consolidation. And unfortunately, if you have options that are expiring soon, this consolidation is not on your side. So you're going to have to make some pretty tough decisions about what you want to do. These are just general guidelines and my opinions of what I personally will do. So if you choose to follow them or choose not to follow them, it's totally up to you, and anything where you choose is completely fine with me. So that's going to conclude it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.